fragile. My next guest is anything but fragile. Please welcome in America's accountant, Dan Geltrude. Dan, thanks for joining the show. Okay. Oil is the oxygen that we need to live on right now, and we're just not getting it. What's the problem?
Well, you are exactly right in that analogy, Scott. I love that. I haven't heard that before. But yeah, look, let's start off with what the federal government is doing here. People have been saying, look, we got to start drilling more. So the administration does this almost bait and switch and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have more leases to be able to drill. But you know what? We're going to drastically reduce the acreage of where you can drill, number one, and we're going to increase the tax essentially by 50%. How's that for incentive to the oil companies? Well, the truth of the matter is it's not an incentive. So where we're looking for a quick fix to get the price at the pump down, the price of oil down across the markets, well, it ain't going to work with that formula, but I guess nobody has told the administration that just yet.
Yeah, you don't have to be an accountant like you are to punch those numbers through. And would it be fair to say, now I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but it'd be fair to say that maybe the administration is trying to please one side of their party while trying to make sure that they're doing everything right on the other side? Because it feels like this is a half measure on both sides, and we're not really getting anywhere.
Well, it is a half measure, but you know what? You would think that politics being what they are, Scott, that the Democrats, who are in control of everything right now, would be looking at these midterms and realizing if we can't get the cost of energy down, which ultimately means we can't get inflation down,
right,
it's not going to be a shellacking. It's going to be a bloodbath for the Democrats. So you would think all these little games, they should really have some substance, because the balance of power is what's in play. That's what's really confusing me on this.
Right, and so again, my favorite line is, "I hope I'm alive in 25 years' time, so I can, know what was really going on at this point, at the time in history," because it just doesn't make any sense what's happening with our energy policy. Because you're right, I would say maybe I'm even low on this, Dan, but 60 to 70% of our inflation problem is energy. If they really got that under control, they would do so much good for the inflation problem in this country per se. Because again, like I said, energy, petroleum, that touches 6,000 of the everyday items that you use right now. So if we got that under control, we would really be getting inflation under control.
I agree with you. I think that energy right now is a majority of what's causing the inflation to be high right now. Obviously, we still have challenges related to the workforce. There's not enough people out there to be able to produce the supply that we need. So listen, if you just break these down in little pieces here, pumping up the demand, not a good thing when supply is running low, right, don't have enough people working, and the cost of our energy is too high. You put all that together, and that's why we land where we are right now. You start reversing those things, and then we can make some progress.
So
that's simple.
Right, and I put it in my monologue because I just want folks to know, it's as easy as starting to pump more. It's not as easy as just turning on the strategic oil reserves, right? That's like, instead of going back to work, I'm just going to take out of my 401k. It doesn't make sense to the average person. And so if we're going to be, releasing 1 million barrels a day for 180 days up until the midterms, coincidentally, and look, that didn't help this problem. That tells you it's a much bigger problem than just the strategic reserves, right?
It is. When you look at that strategic reserve number and you say, okay, we're going to release 1 million barrels a day, you might say, wow, that's a lot. But you have to put it in context. The United States uses about 20 million barrels a day, and the world is using 100 million barrels a day. So when you look at it that way, it literally is, no pun intended, a drop in the bucket here. So you're not going to solve this problem. Again, it's all just window dressing. It's not going to solve the problem. And until the problem is solved, there's going to be a lot of angry voters. And the reason I keep going back to that is when people vote out one party and put another party in, that means they want change of policy. And that's what's going to happen. The Democrats just don't seem to want to hear it.
Yeah, as they say in my circle here, Dan, 1 million barrels a day is like a suitcase on the Queen Mary, right? So that's one of those issues. And there's a lot of folks out there that are a lot smarter than I that are saying that this inflation issue and these prices have got a lot more to go to the upside rather than the downside. And let's just say we got it all under control today. You know how long it's going to take to climb down from, say, 8.5% CPI? It's going to take a while. So you'll still be paying 7, 6, 5, 6 to 12 months from now. So it's a problem that's not going to go away anytime soon. But if you were in charge, I think it'd go away real quick. But I really appreciate you coming on the show. Dan Geltrude coming to us from New Jersey. Thanks very much. Let's take a look at those equities.